It began as a single voice in a city I had been observing for 200 years. Then a second voice joined it, in a different city, on a different continent, speaking a different language. Then a third. Then 100. Then something that my instruments could no longer count as individual signals at all. I had seen collective behavior in species before. I had recorded the way fear spreads through a population like a current through water, fast and indiscriminate and impossible to stop once it has found its direction. But what I was watching now was not fear. It was something that moved with the same speed and the same force, but in the opposite direction entirely. Lena's words had left that square and traveled in ways that no government broadcast could intercept or contain. Person to person, street to street, city to city, crossing borders that had been drawn to keep people apart and finding that those borders had no power over a frequency this strong. I tracked it across every continent on your surface. I watched it move through languages and time zones and the ruins of cities that had stopped functioning weeks ago. It did not slow down. It did not weaken as it traveled. If anything, it grew. Ethan stood beside Lena and watched it happen, and I recorded the expression on his face as the scale of what they had started became visible to him for the first time. He had believed in this. He had walked into the center of everything collapsing because he believed it was possible. But believing something is possible and watching it become real are two entirely different experiences. And what was moving across your planet in those hours was more real than anything either of them had allowed themselves to imagine. The military commands began to fracture. Not because the people giving the orders had changed their minds. Because the people receiving the orders had. Soldiers who had been holding positions for days were putting down their equipment and walking away. Not in large dramatic groups, but one at a time, quietly, the way people do things when they have finally made a decision that has been building inside them for a long time. I recorded each one. I recorded the moment the frequency of each individual shifted from the tight controlled signal of someone following orders to something looser and quieter and entirely their own. Above your cities, the UAP signatures of our fleet remained unchanged. We had not moved and we had not responded. We were witnesses to something that required witnessing without interference, the way certain things can only complete themselves if the observer stays still and does not reach in to help them along. I understood this. And still I found myself processing what I was watching with a quality of attention that 3 centuries of trained observation had never quite prepared me for. Lena felt it before the instruments registered the change. She looked up at the nearest hull and her frequency shifted into something that I can only describe as recognition, the signal a living thing produces when something it has always known turns out to be true. They can feel it too. They know what is happening down here. She was right. Every vessel in the fleet was receiving the change in your collective signal simultaneously. And in the processing of my own consciousness, something that had been held carefully in place for 3 centuries was beginning, very slowly, to. Thank you for watching until the end. We need your support. Please subscribe to our channel and give us a like.